Good morning, everybody. I have a lot of things to talk about today. Might make a few videos. I think the first thing would have to be, not that I'm anyone to be masbid him, but a shtickle hesped for the Heilige Carlsberger Roof. Reine Kaparis Bishkavai, Rav Yechezkel Roth, Zchusig Aleinu, one of the rare tzaddikim of our time, and I had the merit to see him, to meet him, but he was such an otherworldly figure that I can't say I had any type of relationship with him that but what I remember of him, first of all, I was somewhat close with one of his sons, who when I was a bacher, I worked in a bungalow colony at a day camp, stayed there for Shabbos, and for a few years, one of his sons, Reb Amram Hamardarov, was the Rav there in the bungalow colony. So when he would invite me for Shabbos meals to his table, and so, but still also, it was, even I'm sitting at the same table with him and his family, it's like a chassid by a tish. It wasn't like carrying on a conversation or anything. It was just more like I'm sitting there with wide eyes and absorbing the hanhagas, the mannerisms, and he brought me once, where we went together to see his father, to see someone with Yerushalmi Beksha in America, with a Yerushalmi yarmulke, a white knitted yarmulke, and another black yarmulke on top, and tefillin at 6 o'clock in the evening, talis and tefillin, an otherworldly type of figure, and yet Rav Yechezkel Roth was a poisik and a dayan, and he was connected to this world, and he was able to give psak halacha, and he generally was rather lenient. That was what he was known for, was being rather lenient in a lot of things, particularly the Erev and Borough Park, and a lot of other things that he was lenient about, even issues of Bishul Akum and so forth. And I remember he came to the bungalow colony because the Rav was making a bar mitzvah or something, and he came. Rav Amram was making, I think it was a bar mitzvah, and so Rav Yechezkel Roth came and was there at the simcha. And I remember seeing him at the Shiva house by Satmar Rebbe, and I also remember one time davening in his Bismedrish Shabbos morning in Borough Park, and he laned. He read the Torah, and the thing that impressed me was when he was laning, it wasn't just chanting, but it was, you felt he was expressing the words that he was reading, and that really impressed me. The feeling that he put into the Torah reading, which I found to be unique. It was like he's reading a story. I don't remember which parsha it was. All these things are a long time ago. I'm surprised at his age. I thought he was older. He's 85 now, so he must have been even in his late 60s, really, when back then when we're talking about 70s, early 70s. So I always thought he was older than that. But the same thing I used to think of Daniel Frisch, who I did have much more of a shaykhus with, but still was that same type of wide-eyed chassid. Not really someone I could really make a connection with the way that, let's say, I'd make a connection with my local Rav, Rabbi Fishbane, or with the Kalaver Rebbe, who is a Kodesh V'Torah and is otherworldly, and yet somehow I'm able to really have a stronger connection, or with the Biala Rebbe and the Biala Rebbes who I'm more friendly with. It's an interesting, or the Shlafter Rebbe and his father, who also I felt like he was trying to be my friend, and that was something to appreciate, and I run into other people like that too. I remember we just lost Rav Tursky, and I remember meeting him once and trying to make a conversation with him. He was extremely polite, and you could feel the holiness there, but he had no interest in carrying on a conversation, and that was a musser in itself. But I didn't have a minute to carry on a conversation with Rav Yechezkel Roth, just to see him and the interesting thing was I remember Rav Moshe Weinberger. I was talking to him, this is a long time ago. We're talking, 15, 18 years ago, 20 years ago, when I was working there, and I mentioned, Rabbi Roth is the Rav there at the bungalow colony, and he said, Rav Yechezkel Roth. I said, no, his son. He said, oh, well, he said, I used to ask Shilas by Rav Yechezkel Roth, when it was easier to talk to him, back in the day. So, and he was a Kodesh V'Torah. He was a Poisek, he was a Dayan, he was also a Mekubal. He was a person who meditated and, was a very holy, otherworldly person, yet was in this world, and it was a big schus that we had someone like this, both a Talmud Chochem and a Tzaddik, in this world. And I remember Abamram, being so excited, bringing to his father. He said, "Oh, it's a tzaddik," and he really was. And from another son of his, he has a grandson who's very popular. He's on YouTube a lot. Rav Yechezkel Roth, who's a Rosh Hashiva, and he's a very popular speaker. He even tries to speak English a little bit. That's one thing I remember. Reb Amram couldn't really speak English. His children didn't speak English. One of his sons a little bit. So I'm thinking if I make it this week to Borough Park, maybe I'll go be Menachem Aval by Reb Amram. I don't know. But thank you for watching. God bless. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment. We'll see you later.